If suddenly you started to shrink in size, how long would it be until you became as small as a particle of dust? Why would things look different to your eyes? And why should you stay away from these grabby things? Today you'll be scaling down by 1 centimeter every second, from human-sized all the way down to the size of a subatomic particle. Your shrinking adventure would begin suddenly. You'd start at an average adult size. Your mass, your voice, and your grip strength would all feel normal. Whoa! But after just 10 seconds you'd drop 10 centimeters in height. That's about 4 in. And the fun part is, your weight would be falling faster than your muscle force, so you'd feel deceptively springy. In just 1 minute you've shrunk to the size of a child. You'd have lost a third of your mass, and you'd be losing heat fast. Even a small draft would feel chilly. As you gasp, you'll hear a tiny high-pitched voice. That's you. Your vocal cords are shrinking down along with the rest of your organs. For the sake of our story, your clothes shrink along with you. After 2 minutes you'd be light enough that a gust of wind could knock you over. A house cat would look like a tiger, and pose a real danger. 2 minutes into this scenario, you'd only be 30 centimeters tall. That's 1 foot. At this point, you'd be the same size as a domestic cat, only you wouldn't feel as strong. Good news, after shedding all that weight, a tabletop jump, easy. But the real wow hits now. In just 8 minutes, you crash into a universe you've never seen. A living city of proteins and molecules, bumping, locking, buzzing. Welcome to the microverse. This is also a place where a small but powerful molecule like Gain Therapeutics works hard to restore dysfunctional proteins. Gain Therapeutics is a clinical stage biotech company and a sponsor of this video. Stick around to learn how they tackle neurodegenerative diseases, like Parkinson's, with their innovative approach. Click the link in the description to learn more about Gain Therapeutics and how they're rewriting the story of neurodegenerative disease. But for now, after 170 seconds of shrinking, you'd only be 10 centimeters tall. That's 4 in, twice as big as a mouse. Insects would be scary. A cockroach would seem as large as a dog relative to you, and you wouldn't recognize the environment around you. Every speck of dust on the floor would be like a rock. And what looked like ordinary dust when viewed from your regular height might reveal itself as a colony of microscopic particles and tiny creatures. Okay, after 3 minutes of your downsizing journey, you'd be roughly 1 centimeter or 38 of an inch tall. Now you'd be the same size as a large insect. And to anyone regular-sized, you've basically become a bug. Try not to get yourself squished. At this size, grooves in the floorboards would look like trenches, and carpet fibers would rise like dense bamboo. The air would feel different, almost syrupy. It's not because the air down there is different, it is because now you'd be so small that you'd feel air resistance pushing against your every step. Right about now you'd be entering the microscopic world. This ride is about to get wild. After you pass the 3-minute mark, you'd be a mere 1 millimeter in height. That's about 125th of an inch. You'd be the same height as a micro SD card. Now, you'd see dust mites moving like stubby-spined bulldozers through the carpet forest. They'd be half your current size, and other insects would seem like giants. An ant would tower above you 5 times your size. You'd be so tiny and frail that even your own breath would shove you backwards. You could slip into a keyhole, disappear beneath a floorboard seam, or, just get inhaled like a speck of dust. Soon you'd slip below the threshold of what your eyes can see as you're about to enter the realm of microbes and cells. You've shrunk to the height of a human hair, about 100 micrometers. At this scale, you're invisible without a microscope. That living jelly puddle is an amoeba. It eats by hugging and absorbing its food. The largest are about your size, so don't let it hug you. And watch out for paramecium. These single-celled creatures are 3 times your size and swim at super speed. But this plump creature is a tardigrade, or water bear. They're some of the most resilient organisms on the planet, able to survive freezing temperatures, crushing pressures, and even the vacuum of space. 5 minutes after the start of your shrinking journey, you'd see a forest of mold spores and fungal hyphae around you, and you'd start seeing some of the largest bacteria too. But it's time to shrink even more. After 6 minutes of shrinking, you'd be as small as a human cell. Those white blobs in front of you now, well, those would be your white blood cells. And the red ones, you guessed it, red blood cells. Being inside a human blood vessel would be like surfing on blood cells. Watch out for those white cells. Oof! Those bumpy spheres are covered with grabby arm-like receptors ready to capture and engulf bacteria at any moment. Now, if you were on the surface of human skin, the pores would look like giant craters on an alien planet. You'd start seeing organelles inside cells. These little structures would be the size of a pumpkin back when you were regular size. At this scale, your nervous cells or neurons would look like giant trees branching axons and dendrites instead of tree branches. Once you've shrunk down to the size of half a micrometer, you could start wandering around inside a human cell, exploring the vast, crowded warehouse of organelles and the cell's nucleus. Deep inside a neuron, a protein misfolds, setting off a chain reaction that damages the cell. This is one cause of Parkinson's disease. But what if we could fix it? Gain Therapeutics is working on just that. Their lead drug candidate is a small molecule designed to restore the function of these dysfunctional enzymes, with the potential to slow or even stop disease progression. Click the link in the description to learn more about Gain Therapeutics and how they're rewriting the story of neurodegenerative disease. But let's keep shrinking. At 1 nanometer tall, you're on the scale of molecules. You can't see, but you can feel them. Atoms give a fuzzy resistance. That's their electrons pushing back. The atomic nucleus at the core is 1,000 times smaller still. Shrink to the size of an atom, and you enter the quantum world. Everything vibrates. An atom next to you might suddenly swap places with another. That's a quantum jump. A stray X-ray photon might blast through, carrying you with it like a leaf in a hurricane. The subatomic world of protons, neutrons and quarks is beyond tiny. At this scale, you would no longer be a separate being. You'd be part of the atomic lattice. You might even bind into a molecule. That would be the end of your journey. You yourself become a building block. An atom that makes up a molecule. A molecule that makes up something bigger, like a regular-sized you. Well, things don't always have to get smaller. Maybe next time you'll grow bigger, become the size of a dinosaur. But that's a story for another. What if